What's up? This your big homie Kev. Basically, I have another experience of mine. This is an experience. I'm not gonna say no names, but now the reason I present these experiences to you is because, you know, first of all, I want you to understand the importance of having a mentor. And I've explained it in a couple of videos. A mentor goes through things and tells you how to get out of them, so you don't have to go through the same experiences. And this is actually not a good experience. You know what I'm saying? It's a crazy experience, but at the same time, it's an experience. And this is my experience with a music licensing company, and it's not a good one. And again, I tell you these things so you know what to look for, and you know that when dealing with people, you have to always watch yourself, and you have to always look out for yourself. And don't be a dummy. And I say don't be a dummy, and I know that's a harsh word, but don't be a dummy when it comes to contracts, when it comes to signing things, when it comes to, like, basically, this story is basically a situation where I signed a contract and I didn't read the contract, and I literally just signed my life away and didn't know exactly what was happening. But nevertheless, these are some of the things that I've went through to get to where I am. You see, because everybody has to go through something. And these are the things that I went through. And again, I'm telling you so you don't have to go through these things. So lesson for this video, always read your contracts. Always read your contracts. Don't ever just assume that what somebody is saying is what they mean, because people is full of you know what. So the situation is I like to call myself, a grinder. I like to call myself a hustler. But years ago, I was really on a crazy grind, and I was doing any and everything to get my music heard, placed, whatever. Like, I wasn't willing to do anything and everything, but I was willing to do what it took to get my music where it needed to be. And so I bought this book. And for those of you that don't know, there's a industry film guide that I purchase every couple months. And you want to make sure that you get your hands on some of these industry guides. I forgot the name of it. It's around here somewhere. But you always want to make sure that you get your hands on these industry guides, because they show you every film and television contact that you need in order to be successful. And that's all I'm going to say. It costs about $150 to maybe $200. It costs some money, but it's a wise and great investment. And matter of fact, maybe in a video I'll show you, a couple of the companies, just so you can, have some people to call, and, just so you can have some people to, send your music to. But so, I buy this industry guide, and I bought it, and, I was cold calling people every day. That's when I was, I didn't care. I would literally get on the phone with people, and all I would say is, "Hello, what's your music submission policy?" That's it. I didn't want to spend no time on the phone. I just literally wanted to just get an answer. What's your music submission policy? A lot of people hung up on me, but then there was a lot of people that actually wanted to hear what I can do. So, after calling people for, a couple of days, I end up getting a hold of this one company. And I'm not going to mention the name of the company, but I got a hold of this one company. And another thing, persist. Always persist, because that's another thing that I'm going to tell you within this story. But I got a hold of this company. I called this gentleman, and he was cool. Everything was cool, and he told me who he was and what he's looking for and all of that kind of stuff. So I sent him some music, and I didn't hear back from this dude. Like, I literally didn't hear back from him. I sent him some music. I forget what the date was, but weeks went by, months went, like, about 2 weeks went by, and I hadn't heard back. So I contacted him again. He didn't answer. So a month went by. I hadn't heard nothing. I contacted him again. He didn't answer. So, 3 months went by, and this is after constantly contacting him. I contacted him, and he never responded. But after 3 months, he responded. Now, the funny thing about the situation is when he responded, he happened to be in a meeting at the time. So he says he was in a meeting, and he you know, I heard all these people behind him, and you know, at that time, he listened to my music. He was like, "Yeah, I remember who you were, man. Let me find your music. It's in my email. Let me check it out now while I'm in this meeting." So, you know, as he's playing my music over the phone, I'm hearing him listen, and he's like, "Wow, okay, you really a good music producer. Okay, wow, you really okay. You know, you know what a stinger is, and you know, he was checking for everything. Your mixes sound good. Like everything was perfect. Everything was perfect. So he offered me a contract, and this is where everything changed. He offered me a contract, and literally, I was so happy to just get a contract. So lesson number 2 or 3. Don't be so happy to get a contract that you don't read over the contract, because that's the fatal mistake that I made. I didn't know what type of deal this was. I didn't even care what type of deal it was because it was a deal. And that's one thing that I've learned on more than one occasion. You know, so if there's anything that you take from this video, don't be so desperate to just jump out there and do things not even knowing what's going to happen. You know, like, because, you know, you end up, sometimes it can hurt you. And in my situation, it hurt me. But back to it. So he sends me the contract. And I mean, I don't even read it. I don't even read a sentence. I literally sign it and send it right back. And so, you know, now I'm sending this man like at least maybe 10 to 20 tracks a week. Literally 10 to 20 tracks a week. And it's you know, it's TV music, so it's not like I'm just sending him just beats. And you know, I'm actually having to put thought into these tracks. They have to have transitions. They're mixed for TV and television, so they have to be formatted a certain way. And so I'm formatting everything, I'm mixing, I'm mastering everything. Everything is good. And so you know, months go by and I'm still submitting, you know, 10 to 20 tracks a week. And, you know, I'm just getting promised all this money, just all this money. And, you know, so I'm getting promised all this money. So a year finally passes. It's January. A year finally passes. And what happens? I get my first royalty check. This was my first royalty check. I believe it was like 10,000 or something like that. Now, at that time, I had never ever had $10,000 in my hand, in my name, just period. I had never had $10,000. So, you know, I'm happy. I'm thinking, well, I sent this music a year ago. You know, I'm getting paid. Everything is good. So, you know, once again, I went on a dumb shopping spree. You know, I didn't know what to do with money, so I went on a dumb shopping spree, and I bought a lot of dumb things that didn't help me and that I don't even have now, most of them. And so, you know, I went on that shopping spree and everything was cool. And then, you know, so the 2 months passed and it was time for another royalty check. So I get another royalty check, and this time the royalty check is like 11,000 or something like that, or you know, a little bit more. And now it's like, dang, like, you know, this is what's up. You know, I'm feeling like, you know, I'm really a composer. You know what I'm saying? So it's January, February, March, April. And then April, May, June, July. So I'm thinking, okay, another 3 months, another check comes. So by this time, I'm loving the money that I'm making. Everything is fine. I'm still sending. Now I'm sending 20 to 30 tracks a week. Because now I'm like, okay, when I was sending 10 to 20, then I can, you know, I was getting this money. So now let me send more. I mean, I'm fired up now. And so, you know, July comes, and by now I'm used to calling ASCAP, and I'm used to calling to see how much money I'm getting. Like, I had the system all down. The day before I get paid, I would call, and they would tell me how much the money was, and I would be happy. So this day, I call, I believe it was like July the 5th or July the 6th or 7th, somewhere around there. It was early July. So I call up there, and my wife is next to me. And I call, and they tell me on the phone that I got a check for $45,000 coming. So I'm like, I'm already spending this money in my head. Like, already. It's spent. Good as spent. I had at least $20,000 spent already. Like, I was so horrible with money, it wasn't even funny. So, you know, I end up, so, you know, I hang up the phone with him, and I'm like, I cannot believe that this happened through this one opportunity. So something in my gut, told me to call back. Something told me to call back. So I called back. Always listen to your gut. So I called back, and ASCAP, the same person that now I talk to a different person at ASCAP. So I'm like, how much money do I got coming tomorrow? And the gentleman says the same thing, 45,000. And then so I'm like, wow, so this is really true. And he said, wait a minute. So now I'm like, what do you mean, wait a minute? And he says, well, this check is going to be on hold. So now just an instant red flag comes up. And I'm like, hold? You know, so he explains to me that there's been some kind of fraud going on in your account, and the company that you've been doing business with, every producer and composer that was part of that company are a part of this fraud, is a part of this fraud system. So I'm like, so I mean, I don't understand what you're telling me. And he's telling me, well, all of the money that you've received from the first day has to be paid back to ASCAP because you were not supposed to receive all of that money. So I'm like, you know, by this, I mean, I literally got, it was like, what? It was like almost $21,000 that I had got. And again, I'm going crazy. So, you know, a couple days go by. So now I contact the owner of the company. And he tells me, oh, yeah, bro, don't worry about it. I'm going to handle everything. You know, it got, you know, we got overpaid and, you know, this, that. So, you know, investigations happen and all of this. And now I'm getting called by all these people and all this crazy stuff happened. And so to make a long story short, I had to literally pay ASCAP back all of the money that I received from my royalties at that time. I had to pay him back every dollar. And I mean, when I say that hurted, I mean, it hurted so bad, you know what I'm saying? And how they took the money back, I didn't literally have to go and cut a check. They took that money out of future royalties that was owed to me. So, you know, for like a couple years, I paid ASCAP. I was doing nothing but paying ASCAP money back for a couple years. And so, you know, I learned from that experience that, you know, don't jump out there and just do things, especially when it comes to contracts. Don't just jump out there and do anything. If you have access to a lawyer, get a lawyer. If you don't, have somebody look over it or pay the money or have somebody loan you the money to get a lawyer to look at it so they can explain what's going on. Because contracts will screw you. You're a music producer. You know what I'm saying? You're a music producer slash composer slash creative individual. There are a lot of people in the world that are trying to take advantage of a creative individual. And they are out there preying on you every day. Every day. So, again, when it comes to contracts, make sure that you know what these contracts say. Make sure that you understand what's going on within these contracts. And don't just sign your life away. I learned, so now I'm spreading this to you. So, don't do it. Don't do it because it'll cost you a long time of pain. A long time of pain. Like literally, I had to pay back over $20,000 to ASCAP. To ASCAP. You know, and that was a very frustrating situation. And, you know, to this day, I haven't talked to the gentleman. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't send him no more music. And, you know, I mean, you know, it was an unfortunate situation, but I learned the lesson. And those are the things that, see, a lot of people don't know what happens. They just see where you are now. A lot of people don't know what happened, you know, while you were going through to get to where you are. A lot of people don't know. And, you know, I feel like it's important for me to share those experiences with you so you can know what to do, what not to do, and what's out there. So, you know, I hope you learned something from this video. Make sure that if you haven't, you go to luxuryloops.com, download your free loop pack, and subscribe to this video so you know when I put up new videos. Also, like this video, you know, peace.